first time in their history, the Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions.
For the first time in franchise history, the Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup. After one of the most entertaining and thrilling Stanley Cup matchups that we've seen in years, the Panthers finally stopped the bleeding by shutting down the best player on planet Earth when it mattered the most. With all the momentum and opportunity for certain players to cement their legacy, it wasn't supposed to end like this. However, when you take a deeper look at the masterclass that the Panthers put on during Game 7, history was bound to be made. In a Game 7, no matter how much momentum is swinging to either side, all bets are off once the puck drops. Coming into Game 7, it was hard to imagine that the Edmonton Oilers weren't going to come into this game with all this momentum and pull off a comeback that we haven't seen in 82 years. With that being said, the Florida Panthers put on one of their best performances when it mattered the most and shut down the greatest player on earth in the process. The first goal in this game would be critical in imposing the other team's style onto another, as it turns into a completely different game once you have to play from behind. Now, earlier in the first, the Oilers have a massive penalty kill, and just a few moments after the penalty ends, Carter Verhaeghe gets on the board with an all-time tip to make it 1-0 Panthers. Verhaeghe has struggled in this series, and with only one goal in 6 games, this guy was on the verge of being plastered on the side of milk cartons for being a missing person. That being said, it's a good time to show up for Game 7, and this goal is actually caused by a tiny mistake by Bouchard, who gets caught drifting up too high on this play. With Foegele coming out of the box to make this even strength, the Oilers will get into their box +1 D-zone coverage, with Foegele being the +1 when he returns to the zone. Everyone's in a decent position except for Bouchard, who's anticipating that Rodriguez is just going to throw this down low to continue the cycle. For 6 games, the Oilers and Bouchard in particular have seen the Panthers rim this puck down low to continue that cycle game. So as Bouchard drifts up high and begins to slightly cheat towards the boards to anticipate this, Verhaeghe is going to make a smart play to stay in front of the net. It's tipped home, and one slight misread combined with great awareness leads to the all-important first goal. That is massive for the psyche of the Panthers to get the first one, and it's almost immediately erased by Matthias Janmark Messier. Janmark has been an absolute force depth piece for the Oilers in this series, and he scores another breakaway goal on Sergei Bobrovsky. The Oilers have had a lot of success stretching out the Panthers in games 4 to 6, and here they do it again to catch Florida being too aggressive. Janmark has been a slippery devil with this play, and he has the awareness to hang high as this puck is played below the Oilers' goal line. In past games, the Panthers have picked up that high guy and has created space for the Oilers, but here they just totally missed their man, and Janmark goes backhand-forehand to tie this game up. Now, if Florida wanted to win this game, they needed to shut down the Oilers' ability to create off the rush. Looking at the numbers in the past 3 games, the Oilers have outscored the Panthers 10-0 off the rush and outchanced the Panthers 19-6. In our Game 6 breakdown, we talked about how the Panthers started to get away from their game a little bit by hesitating on their dump and chase because of how well the Oilers were breaking the puck out and torching them on the rush. In Game 7, the Panthers responded by having far better support on dump-ins to limit the Oilers' options and stuff them before they can even get a chance. Here Skinner comes out to play the puck, and he's got options on either side to quickly get this puck north. In the previous 3 games, Skinner's puck handling has been huge for getting the puck north quickly and evading the Panthers' aggressiveness. But here, a slight hesitation and an inaccurate pass puts this Oilers defender in a bad spot. Then the Panthers' puck support and tenacity take over, and it creates a good chance. As the Oilers go to reload on the transition, Nurse has the right idea to change sides and find space in the middle, but the Panthers' pressure just forces the time to be off and creates yet another possession change. When the Panthers are at their best, all 5 players are providing support and options off the cycle. If the Oilers have the chance to create on the transition like they do here, the Panthers D were able to consistently step up and create a turnover for a chance of their own. This type of play can't happen if Montour doesn't feel comfortable stepping up and having the support of his F3 back to do damage control if he whiffs on this attempt. Now, with the Panthers shutting down the rush game for Edmonton, ironically, it would be a Panthers goal off the rush that will haunt the Oilers for the entire summer. Right after the Oilers get an unbelievable chance to watch this puck dance in the goal crease with no one there to bang it home, Edmonton gets caught with 3 forwards deep trying to keep on the pressure. That sparks a 3-on-2 the other way for Florida, and this is a goal that Kulak and Skinner are going to see in their nightmares. As Reinhart enters the blue line, the Oilers actually have numbers back to stop this chance, and all they need to do is communicate. This forward stays with his man on the backdoor play. CC is going to take the Panther drive in the middle lane, and Kulak is supposed to flex out and pressure Reinhart. Instead, the game moves too fast, there's not enough communication, and that is a backbreaker of a goal to let in. A shot from outside the dots with no tip in front is one that Stuart Skinner is going to want back for a long time. Now down by 1, Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers essentially have 20 minutes before they go home without a cup. But with a 1-goal lead, it's Florida's support in their own end that allows them to put the clamps on Edmonton. When the Oilers had the puck below the goal line, the Panthers would swarm with numbers to make sure the Oilers stayed outmanned and couldn't maintain pressure. More importantly, the Panthers shut down McDavid by having him attack through layers. Anytime he touched the puck, Florida would have one guy right in his face with a second player squeezing him right off to eliminate his options. When Edmonton trying to force McDavid the puck, the layers of Florida's defense wouldn't even allow him to gain possession. Despite all that, McDavid's off-puck awareness still got him 2 chances that almost changed the entire game. In this whole sequence, Montour is going to try and stay glued to McDavid in front of the net to shut him down. There's just such little space to operate as a superstar player at this junction of the game, but watch him leverage the other battle in front of the net to shake off his man and explode towards the front of the crease. All of a sudden, he's somehow all alone in front in a Game 7, and if you're Florida, you're shitting bricks looking at this scene. Fortunately, Gustav Forsling, with the stick check of the century, somehow keeps this puck out of the net, and Florida somehow survives the wrath of Connor McDavid. Then again, with under 3 minutes left in the game, it's pretty much a given that the whistles are put away, and you're going to have to fight through hell to get to open space. Both Forsling and Ekblad close in on Draisaitl and McDavid, but again, McDavid pops out of that traffic, goes to the net, and tips one just wide. 2 golden opportunities that could have changed NHL history, but they just didn't fall in. The Panthers hold off the pressure and win their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. What a fantastic series all around. Connor McDavid becomes the second skater in NHL history to win the Conn Smythe on a losing team. He didn't even bother to come out and get the award, and honestly, I don't blame him after the emotion of losing a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final. Some people disagreed with that choice to make him the Conn Smythe winner because he was held pointless in Game 6 and 7, but this entire run was something that we have just not seen in the modern era. 42 points in the playoffs is absolutely absurd. As for the Panthers, even though it took one of the craziest paths to get to this moment, they deserve all of this. Paul Maurice came in and implemented a system and culture that has become infamous with Panther hockey, and it's created a Stanley Cup champion. It took a lot of ballsy trades and some heartbreak, but this team found a way. For the entire team to stay composed after losing 3 straight and get back to what made them so great speaks volumes of the trust in not only the coaching staff, but in each player. Overall, this was probably one of the best Stanley Cup Finals I've watched in my life. It was the perfect send-off for a season that was just complete chaos from start to finish. It's been an absolute blast covering it all for you, and the amount of growth that we've seen on this channel since the season started has been unbelievable. Back in October, we were at 58,000 subscribers, and now we're at 170,000. It all started 2 years ago with a terrible William Nylander breakdown done in my bedroom, and because of all of you, it's grown to this point, so thank you all deeply for supporting the channel. It means the world when making these videos. We also got tons of off-season content planned as well, including deep dives, team and player breakdowns, along with so much more, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss a single thing.